On the 23rd of September 1904, a fair-looking morning soon turned into a stormy downpour as the children of Pleasant Ridge School played outside on their recess break. The rain started coming down heavily, catching the school children off guard. The majority of the children ran to seek shelter in the school building. However, approximately 30 girls made a dash for the outhouse on the side of the playground they were playing on. The outhouse the girls took shelter in was the school Privy, a 10-foot square frame building positioned over a 12-foot stone vault. The building was 11 years old and had already been repaired multiple times over the years. A year prior to the incident, a carpenter was hired to install new seats and to replace the flooring. The carpenter assumed the old floor was safe, never inspecting the joints, and built over the first floor, which proved to be a grave mistake. As the 30 girls piled into the outhouse, the flooring suddenly gave way, and in an instant, the entire floor crashed to the bottom of the vault, carrying with it the frightened schoolgirls. The girls plunged 8 feet into the foul waters below. One of the schoolgirls who managed to clutch to the side, Elsie Ferguson, said there was no crash at all, the floor just fell. A panic ensued between the girls and a fight for survival began. Girls screamed, cried, and fought against one another to try and climb out of the vault. The weaker girls were crushed down by the stronger girls, and eventually forced under the mass of filth to their death. Another schoolgirl who witnessed this go down made a dash for the school to get help. Head teacher Thomas Zimmerman wrote in an account published in the Cincinnati commercial newspaper, "I did not realise the awful calamity that had overcome us, but I hurried in the direction of the outbuilding. On the way, I met a number of others. They were screaming wildly at the top of their voices, and it was some time before one of them could compose herself sufficiently to explain what had happened. When Zimmerman arrived on the scene, what he had saw almost made him faint. By this point, others had heard the screams from the girls and rushed to help. Zimmerman was lowered into the vault with 2 men holding his legs and managed to pull 3 of the schoolgirls out. One of the boys who rushed to help found a ladder in a barn 100 yards away. The ladder was lowered down into the vault and helped the remaining girls escape. The girls, emerging from the vault, were unrecognisable. Their eyes clenched shut, and they were sobbing uncontrollably. Zimmerman, at this point, was not aware there were still girls in the vault, underneath the wreckage. 2 young men volunteered to go down and search for the bodies in the muck. The 2 men pulled out 9 girls, none of which survived. It took one glance at the outhouse for Hamilton County Coroner Walter Weaver to see what had happened. The first words to leave his mouth were rotten, rotten, rotten. Everything was rotten. Those joists wouldn't hold a thing. After the state inspector and his consulting engineer visited the scene, they declared it was a wonder that such a catastrophe had not happened long ago. When the carpenter was questioned, he stated, "I want it thoroughly understood that I did not build that floor, but had only been hired to make some alterations. You will never find out who laid the so-called new floor, because I never heard of one being laid." The coroner issued his verdict on October the 19th, citing suffocation as the cause of 9 deaths and declaring gross negligence on the part of the Board of Education. The accident occurred on account of the decayed condition of the joists supporting the floor covering of the vault, his report read. The floor was in such a condition as to indicate that it had been laid when the joists were in a state of decay. No charges were ever filed, nor indictments issued.